Part 4. I was going to marry a rich man. So, Thurman had bought this gun I told you about before from Jim Whitehead. They were dealing around and dealing around. And Jim was starting to cut loose his stuff after his wife died. And he you know, he really didn't want to sell that gun. Thurman really wanted it. I'd never seen it. I'm not a fan about guns and kids at all. I don't like any guns in the house for children. And so, especially with this fool, this gun, it was a big long shotgun, and it was wood, and it had gold all up and down the barrel. I mean, it was like gold filigree, some like pictures, whatever, ornamentation on this gun. And it, you know, it was a gun that belongs in a case for show. It was really pretty, but you know, if you like guns. But Thurman just had to have it, and it was a high dollar gun. And him and Whitehead talked for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. And Whitehead, you know, Thurman would say, I'll give you this much for it. And Whitehead's like, no. And he's like, that gun, to buy it new would be this much, da-da-da. It's worth a lot of money. So finally, they cut the deal. Whitehead went ahead and sold it to Thurman, I think, for $2,000 or $3,000. It was a pretty incredible piece. But I thought, what is Thurman going to do with this? Like, I've never known him to go hunting. He doesn't even want to go fishing. And so, anyway, he got the gun and was so excited about it. I thought, well, at least it'll go in a nice case on the wall or whatever. But no, this gun was like a woman to him. It was the strangest thing. He would, one weekend he got so damn drunk at the Pickwick house that he was literally rolling in the floor, holding on to this gun, and I mean, he couldn't even get up off the floor, and was laughing and giggling and carrying on how Elvis was really his brother, that he was the son that they didn't want to talk about, and da 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 da. And I just going on, and I'm like, what the hell? And like he would be playing Elvis music and stuff, and which is about the worst thing you could ever do to me. I'm not a big fan of Elvis. One, because my best friend Pam Creech, who was Tigger One, she used to play that stuff in Charlie Rich day and night. And when we went to sleep at night, she had the stereo on with a record playing or whatever, and it would be that damn Elvis crap. And we slept with that. And it was so hard to sleep with that noise. But she just loved Elvis and played it constantly, and I just couldn't stand Elvis. Because I had listened to it a bazillion million times, constantly, every day. I was sick of it. And so I really did not like Elvis. People say, oh, Elvis, and I'm like, oh, shut up. You know, I've had enough Elvis for 22 lifetimes. I'm totally Elvised out. Although I do read stuff about him and watch, you know, documentaries about him and stuff. And I had an instructor in engineering that coached him on the football team in Memphis and all that, and told true stories about that. But I mean, I'm just not a big fan of it. But so to hear any more in my lifetime was just entirely too much. But he'd get roaring drunk on occasion and be rolling across that floor with a flipping gun. And it was like, you know, just holding that gun like a woman. And I was like, what is with this guy? And you know, it starts, you know, all these little things that just get on my nerves. I'm like, you know, I'm just not going for this. You know, this guy's just you know, it's not worth it. You know, and I'd tell Kathy, I'd say, you know, he's just strange. I just don't know about marrying this guy. And she's like, oh, it's nothing, you know, guys are guys. And you know, don't lose this wonderful opportunity. I'm like, well, I mean, money doesn't buy you everything. So, that guy became like the enemy of all. Moved everything up to the Pickwick house. He was supposed to retire, supposed to retire, supposed to retire. And it's like, well, I'm going to retire this week. I'm done. I'm finished. They know I'm leaving. They're going to miss me. My secretary's going to miss me. The guys are going to miss me. You know. And he never really does it. He keeps going back and he keeps being miserable until the weekend. So, in the meantime, you know, he'd always kept talking about how he wanted a kid, you know, and all that. And, I was on depot, which is a shot. But honestly, all I gotta do is look at that stuff and I'll get pregnant, okay? I've told people that through the years, like guys that want to date me, and they're like, oh, I just adore you, why don't you sleep with me? I'm like, no. I said, I have to really like you. I'm a Cinderella kind of girl. I don't just sleep with people. And you have to have respect for me. If you're just out to sleep with me, forget it. You're not going to get far with me. And the next thing is, all I have to do is look at it, and I'll get pregnant. And, you know, I'm not going to be pregnant by it. Just whatever. So, I just didn't keep my stuff to myself. So, anyway, I came out pregnant, and I was not happy about it, and I was very scared to tell him, because I kept telling him, I said, I know I'm pregnant, because I kept getting sick. And he's like, nah. So we kept buying tests, and took a bunch of different tests, and then one day it came up positive, which, even when I had my daughter, I had 9 tests. The last 2 were blood tests, and the 9th one came up positive, okay? All the others came up negative, so don't even begin to tell me. But anyway, so I was like in tears. I was not totally happy about it, because I was kind of unsure about this guy. I've been with him for a little while, but, I mean, you know, we were going to be married. We'd set it for November, and, it's a good thing we set a date and didn't just do it, because what a regret that would have been. So, then the weirdness comes out. So this girl that I've worked with at Platinum, she was from like out of state, like some place like Ohio or something, and she was real sweet and nice, and she seemed kind of young, and turned out she had fake ID, and she was really like 14 or 15 years old. Yeah. And found that out after she disappeared. There was a diamond necklace laying on the dresser for months up at Pickwick. And I had told Thurman, I said, whose necklace is that? And I says, it just sits there. And he's like, oh, he said, that was that girl such and such. Well, then I found out such and such was a girl that I danced with at Platinum. But I didn't know her real name, but I found out. And she was dating Thurman. And probably the same bullcrap story of, I'd paid $5,000 to have a kid. Well, she probably fell for that. Because she left and she was pregnant. And turned out she had a little boy. Thurman told me some of the story. And he says, well, I got a little boy out there. He says, but she won't let me see him. And it was like, what? Like, why were you with that girl? I mean, she turned out to be 14 or 15 years old and had fake ID. And then she just disappeared. Well, I think she disappeared because she ran away from him. So, I'm you know, not knowing what to do exactly. Thurman's excited, but then he's not about me pregnant. I need to be at doctor's. He's not handling that. He was supposed to put me on his insurance. Time's dragging on. And several times in the middle of the night, he would be kicking me in the stomach with his knees or feet. And that was grotesquely painful. It's one of the most horrible things when somebody's doing that to you. It's just like you want to die. It is so grotesquely painful. And he would say, I don't want any kids, I don't want any kids. And would repeatedly kick me in the stomach. Like in the middle of the night, whatever. And that was at the Germantown house. And then I got to the point where I thought, God, you know, this kid's going to be so damaged